Hello and welcome to Separated by Water, the podcast for fans of teams in England uh, and from Ireland, north and south. And there are plenty of us about, I can tell you. For me, my name is Colin Campbell. I'm a Spurs season ticket holder. Last week I was down with flu. This week it's flu and depression, I have to say. But my rather smug friend here, Paul Galt, lifelong Forest supporter. How are you, Paul?
You good? All the better for the game at the weekend. I have to say to you, you took it all rather well, and it was a bad game for you to come to the City Ground and experience. Part of me before the game, Colin, I was sort of hoping for a draw so that we'd all both go home happy. But I went home extremely happy, and you went home not so happy. But anyway, good
Well, that's
performance
yeah,
for us. I'm not
yeah.
sure.
It
We'll
was.
get into
We'll,
it
we'll,
in a
we'll
minute or two. I'm not sure whether
we'll
it's a
come to
good
that. Yeah,
performance
yeah.
by Forest or a bad performance by Spurs, or a bit of both. But I have to say a great debt of gratitude to Justin and Jill and for their hospitality in box 22. What a fabulous day! Generosity beyond words. I couldn't actually just every time I turned around there was something else. Every detail was so. Thank you to them and thanks to the guys. I'm going to name them all. Nottingham Forest Magic Group. Amma, Charlie, Jeff, Jack, Dave, Becky, of course, Jill, who hosted us, and Rosario, Colin, and myself that were there that day. And it was a great day. We had a fantastic day.
Was
Weather was
was.
good, and the match was good, and the food was good. Hats off to Nottingham Forest Football Club as well for their hospitality, everything, attention to detail. David Besant, just all the stars that were there. You know, Jason Lee, unbelievable, great day. It was like
Yeah.
one of them ones I'll take off as being a very special day. How was it for you, Colin? How did you enjoy it?
Well, not to mention our wager. First of all, I think I'll
Oh,
have to
yes,
come
yes.
clean
Is
on
that a
that.
Forest top? I see underneath there, is it?
Yes, we agreed that whichever team won, the other person would have to wear the shirt. So I am good for my wagers. What could expect? I do have a white shirt underneath, but that's for because I'm not feeling so wonderful just yet. So okay, I'll give maybe my account of the day if that's okay. It was actually a 3 day trip, and first of all, I was a guest from Jill, who Paul mentioned. It was absolutely superb, and I'll come to that probably in my running order here. But Nottingham, I thought it's a lovely place. I'd been there before a couple of times with work, but I really had a chance to take it in a wee bit. And I think the great weather on the day helped showcase it, you know. The ground is ideally placed along by the river, and there was a lovely, homely atmosphere to it all. I really enjoyed that part of it. My journey from Belfast to Nottingham was probably a wee bit more complicated than I would have anticipated. Belfast to Manchester flight, train to Manchester Piccadilly, and then another train into Nottingham. However, the good part was the hotel that you recommended, Paul, was easy walking distance from the train station, so got in a good time. It was about a 9 hour from getting up at 5:30. Was about a 9 hour journey, so it had to be done over 3 days rather than one or two, you know. But that was all good. Um, you just saying there about this very special word of gratitude. I had obviously got the invite as part of this podcast, and it was a good idea. We thought that for both of us to come when Forest were playing Spurs seemed like a good idea at the time. But thanks to Jill, she was hostess with the mostess on the day, in box 22, as you say, and all the goodies that went with it. I really enjoyed that. Once again, thanks, and I hope to be able to repay the compliment in some way, at some stage. It did feel a wee bit strange being surrounded by opposition fans. It's not something that has happened to me that often, but the atmosphere was good. I wasn't being antagonistic in any way, and I enjoyed it for that reason, you know. So what I'm saying, you know, at that stage, all things being equal, I was having a wonderful day, and then Tottenham took the field of play. You know, why were we in yellow? It's a nice kit, but it was almost as if we'd given up something of ourselves by not playing in our lily white and dark blue. There was no colour clash there whatsoever. Anyway, um, from our point of view, you know, what tactics Sean Dyche needed to display, were successful. It was very little. Close our two wide men down, let them run about for a while and lose the ball. Allow them central midfielders to pass the ball across the pitch to each other. And I think it was one shot on target the whole time. It was very, 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 very poor. Notwithstanding the two howlers that gave Forest 2 goals, it was very, very poor. It's sometimes the emotional pathway is of frustration or surprise or anger, and eventually it becomes just almost an acceptance that this is a kind of nonsense that we have to put up with. The thing that annoyed me most was the lack of fight. Those guys should have been coming out. They've got a fighting cockerel on their chest, and there wasn't 1 ounce of it in there. I really do. And I'm not going to mention names in that way because I don't want to separate anyone. I thought everyone was just poor, maybe degrees of it, but just poor. And it was the lack of fight, as I say, and that's what really got to me. We did contribute to our own demise. I get the feeling maybe Vicario's packed his bags already. I think half of his head's on the way back to Italy. I don't really know. And I said I'm not going to mention names. I had to pick that one out. And I'm not, you can make your own mind up. You've probably seen it on TV about the hospital pass to Gray. And then the Flapsy Hapsy. The second one, the third one.
Sangari seen it coming before Gray seen it coming and was on it. And,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And his vision, Colin, to see Colin Hudson-Odoi alongside him and passing the ball instead of trying to batter it into the net himself was great vision. It was good team play.
Yeah, and I would say Forest were a good team, look a good team, but we made them look brilliant, and that's disappointing. I've ranted on enough about the Levy effect over the podcast the last couple of years, as you'll know. But I think we weakened year on year from probably about 2019, and this is what you get. But it's the lack of fight that really bugs me.
Well, we always go on about messages coming in, Colin. We always go on about messages coming in. I'm just going to mention a couple, and please join us in the messages. Matt can't put up what you put in. I know what you're talking about, but I'm not going to say that because apparently it offends him an awful lot, so I won't be putting that up. I'll tell you what it is later on, Colin.
I see it.
Dave said, I want to know what Colin thinks about the Dyche appointment. Now, do you remember you and Dave had a conversation about Dyche in a previous episode, Colin, and discussed whether you thought it was an emergency appointment, a panic appointment. Do you agree with that now? What do you think?
No, I mean, also at the time, I said I dug out some stats about Sean Dyche, who's a guy I would admire in most facets. And all I was saying really was at the time that the stats were very 120 lost 20, this kind of thing. Now, I caveated that by saying that Watford, Burnley, and Everton, none of them were great teams. But he certainly overreached with Burnley, in my opinion. I think they were wrong to let him go. He had a very difficult tenure at Everton because it was a very difficult time at Everton. I think the positive side of what we suspected is coming through is that he is a really good manager and he's got better players here. And he's certainly got them up and running and playing. And they're everything that I was talking about the Spurs weren't. They play with purpose, energy, and determination to win that game, So I hope Sean Dyche does very, very well for you. I hope he does well. He's an honest.
I think he will. I think he will. I remember I used to love watching these play with Burnley and managing a mediocre group of players and getting the very, very best out of them. And now I can see it's all starting to take shape. I can tell you that our team are a lot fitter than they were under Nuno Orange, and they seem to be getting fitter and covering the ground. We covered the ground the other day. We were running at the ball, we were moving it about. And I must mention the guy. He subscribes to our channel and he messages me an odd time. He does a bit of YouTube work, and he had a message up just saying about Spurs, how bad Spurs were, how shocking they were, and blah blah blah. But he come back on again, and he sent me a message with a link to it to say, actually, I owe the Forest supporters an apology because Forest weren't just okay; they were good, and they made us look worse than what we. He had the balls to do that, to come back on and do that. And I'm going to call out a couple of players that I thought were absolutely amazing. Savona, who I have been very nervous about, and a few other guys are very nervous about him as well. And he played very well the other day. He was everywhere he needed to be. Sangari, I think Sangari's been played where he was with PSV, I should say. And he he just seems to be that bit further forward, and that's them. That goal he scored the other day with a cross going straight across and just nailed it into the net from outside the box. He was scoring them all the time. And Eindhoven, and I just think that's the position. Unfortunately, he's heading off. We'll talk about AFCON now in a minute. He's heading off to AFCON. He's the only player I think we will miss. Billy Bolly's going as well, but we'll talk about that in a minute or two. I think that Callum Hudson-Odoi was a 10. He has to get a 10 on the day. He was sensational. He was on the move all the time. Turned your defenders inside out, and yeah, it was a tough day for you and a very good day for us. But yeah.
Yeah, well, one of maybe
summary. It was just greater commitment from our players.
There was. If I can maybe just say in closing about Spurs, probably for the sake of the podcast and tying up things that have been said before. When Frank was appointed, the word I used was I was intrigued. I think now I'm dismayed. I'm not seeing things because just prior to the PSG game, the Super Cup, you asked me what did I want from Frank, and I said, and the team was shape and commitment. And on that night, we got it. We got it against City, and no, we got neither. We really got neither on Sunday. Yeah. So I don't know where we go here. You know what I mean? I think the intriguing thing will be that we're all assuming that Frank was a Levy appointment, and how much the new generation of Lewis's trust or loyalty they'll have. With regards to that, who knows? But the January window will be a big one for Tottenham. It'll be a big statement, or it won't be a statement at all. But any statement will be a big statement. If we try to bring in 2 or 3 players that are really needed, that'll be a statement. If we don't, well then, pack and go home. But will they trust Thomas Frank with the money that most of us think it will take to turn that team around? And that's, the big question. It's only 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away. So, big time's coming up. And on Sunday, or the Liverpool game. Now, Liverpool you don't know which Liverpool is going to turn up. You don't know which Tottenham's going to turn up. But with Palace and Brentford again, if Tottenham lose, I think there could be a change. I really do. Yeah.
No, I think so too. I was looking at that call. Let's talk about AFCON. Salah's going to be missing from Liverpool. 3 out of the 4 that were African nation players in Palace 3 aren't selected. So it's just Sarr that's travelling. Brentford, Utara, and Onyeki. I apologise if I pronounced them wrong. But you are losing Bizuma and the other Sarr. Do you think that's going to affect your squad? How do you think?
Well, not really. Bizuma hasn't played all season, and they're looking to get rid of him. I quite like him on his day, but he's been monkeying around or arsing about. And, he has not been playing, and that's a disgrace. Sarr, I like. I think he's busy and he's active, but for some reason, when he was playing well, Frank seemed to drop him. This seemed to irritate him. So at the minute, a good Sarr would be a big loss. The Sarr we currently have would be not too much of a loss. So compared to some of the other teams, we're probably not doing too badly, certainly with the 11 we had out on Sunday. So it's not as bad as it could be. Some people would say Salah really hasn't turned up most of the season.
So Liverpool. Yeah, bearing in mind that Salah, this time last year, if you'd heard Salah was going to be gone, you'd be delighted with yourself. This year, not so much, because we know that what's going on with Salah there. How many points would you predict from the 3 games, Liverpool, Palace, Brentford? What would you be happy with? What will save Thomas Frank?
Well, it really depends on the order of them. Palace or
Liverpool, Palace, and then Brentford. You're home to Liverpool, away to Palace, away to Brentford.
Well, the way it works out, you got to say, 2 wins is 6 points, but we'll get. It could be 5 points, it could be 2 draws and a win. I think it would be very difficult for Spurs, not good for them to lose any of those games, right?
Yeah.
I think we'll get 7 points, actually, believe it or not, because they can't play as badly again. They just can't.
Well, I think if they do, I think
That's good.
Thomas Frank's in serious trouble. Serious trouble. Palace, there's Brentford. I actually fancy Brentford to keep slipping down the league now. I think they're in danger. I think they've
Yeah.
shown nothing really of any resilience to be able to stay up, and I just think that this is the year that they're going to slip down in. I think Leeds are going to be okay. I think it's going to be Burnley, Brentford, and Wolves. That's the way I see
Uh,
it going at the minute. I think West Ham maybe just is
yeah.
enough to kick out of
Yeah.
it with Nuno. Nuno sorted that bad patch with us as well when he came in at Spurs, and then it all came good again. And once he gets people playing the way he wants to, so maybe that's what's going to happen with them. But we'll wait and see. I'll go through a few predictions here. I asked for the Forest guys give us a prediction. I predict 2-1. Forest win against Fulham on Monday night. We were a good break now, which since Sunday right through to Monday,
Okay.
8-day break
Yeah.
effectively. Dave said 3-1, Stu said 2-0. Jesus and Louise to score. Charlie says Fulham 2. He's predicting a draw 2-2, and for the next 3 games, 9 points. So that's 3 wins by my reckoning. But anyway, 9 points from 3 games. Dice ball. There's a few other comments in there.
Well, that's your European form. Yeah, I mean Fulham did well to beat Burnley, but
2-1. So,
Fulham are playing
we'll
tomorrow
wait and
night.
see.
I'd like them to beat Newcastle just because I like Fulham, but I think Fulham will just do enough to stay up, but not do too much. I think Forest could be on. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Talking then. What else would we want to talk about? We want to talk about football, and then we'll do our last night Man United game. Did you watch it? Did you see any of it?
Yeah, I saw it. I didn't see it uninterrupted, but I was in and out. And what a remarkable when you're neutral, or maybe you're never neutral with Man United playing. But I thought it was an excellent game of football. Very enjoyable. 2 teams committed to attack. Glad to see Bournemouth come back a wee begin. Have slipped a bit. I'm a big admirer of their manager and their business model and how they keep a club like as small as that in the Premier League, which is very, very good. But they really give it a go, and fair play to them. And they nearly won it 5-4. I think for United, there's still as many questions as answers. United fans will be, probably feeling they should have won that, and that's 2 points dropped. To score 4 is great. To give away 4 at home is not wonderful. So I think that with them the jury's out, just like with a few other clubs at the minute. Bournemouth hopefully will. Well, apart from Arsenal, who did okay and rode their luck a bit at the weekend. Yeah, you would say everyone's in a wee bit of transition. Man City maybe are starting to look the business again, and it was really only a matter of time. I do think, for some reason, Pep lost a wee bit of his appetite last season. I think he's got it back, and I think that resonates with the players and transmits to them. And they're looking dangerous again. Good shout out for Aston Villa, who keep winning. And we all
Matt's listening. I know Matt's listening there. Matt, I'm going to, if you're listening, mate, are you in the title race? Are you in? Can you win this league? I'd be interested to hear what he has to say, because he's normally very pragmatic about how things could be. I don't know that they are. I don't know if it's too early to say. I never really look at these things until after Christmas and see how everything's going then. But and there's a couple of things in Charlie has sent WhatsApp because he's not, and it says that shirt looks class on Colin, born to wear it. Another one has said that if you just tilt your camera down a wee bit, Colin, because they can't see the badge. If you just tilt your camera down a wee bit so we can see the badge on you. No, that's up the way. Other way, lad. Other way. Yeah.
Look, something.
He couldn't do it. What?
Something's blocking it. My name's blocking it out there, Well, is Matt a villain? Yeah, is he a Villa fan?
But Matt's a Villa supporter. Works in our England office, and I was just wondering if he would come back to us and say what he thinks.
Well, they're mathematically in the league race. They very much are, and their performances.
Oh, I think so.
I
watched
the game against Arsenal last week, and I thought they were, Villa, Arsenal came back into it, but, Villa took the punches and came back again and probably shaded it. They're a very likable team to me, Aston Villa, over the years. They were one of the great traditional teams. And I think the way Emery had been treated by Arsenal was poor. And he's really come back and he's proven himself. No doubts about his ability because they started the season so poorly. We mentioned it on the podcast, but he's come back. And McGinn, as it runs things there. Now, McGinn always, he looks like one of those players who he's a wee bit puffed out, a wee bit heavy in this day and age, but he controls and, he directs the traffic very, very well. And they've got Rodgers and a couple of other guys very hungry. So good luck to them.
So Matt has said there that which one of you laughed when I said Villa? I think it was me that laughed, but we'll find out now. And we have Matt, who's an Arsenal supporter. He said, "Don't mention the game; sore topic in the office in England." Yeah, no doubt it was because it was a late finish, wasn't it? It was a late goal. I think done it.
Which one?
I didn't watch the match.
Villa.
Villa Arsenal.
Oh, I was 95th. I think it was. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
around the last pick of the ball.
Third, so I'll take that in the moment. Top 5, yeah. So that's what I say. Pragmatic. He won't say it in the title race, but probably
Fair
secretly is hoping it is. I have money on all over the place, by the way, Matt. So I'm starting to lose a lot of money. And Charlie's a tenner on with you as well, Matt. Don't forget it's Sterling. What else, Colin? What else are we talking about today?
I think just a couple of things. Probably Chelsea. You're never too far away from the headlines. My brother was over at their match on Saturday. It was, and had mentioned by text that there was some bombshell of sorts was going to be coming out from the Chelsea management. I'm not sure if that's what he was referring to, but the Chelsea manager with his comments, we can take them at face value. The interpretation seems to be A, that he feels that his team selections are being interfered with, and B, that maybe he's had enough of the job. Because if you want to get yourself sacked by Chelsea, you do exactly what he has done. Chelsea seemed to be, Chelsea seemed to be like the most successful basket case that ever goes. They change managers. They have changed owners recently. Over the last few years, they had player policies that defy all interpretation, and yet they're a good team. They're hard to beat, and they're up there now. They had a wee wobble again, but I still think they're there or thereabouts, and I would back them to win the league. So you have to stay true to that as well. Maybe a wee bit more hope.
Still think they'll be up. They'll be thereabouts, but I think Man City's coming. That makes it much more sinister, Colin. If they knew that announcement was coming out. Because then it was a plan that wasn't something reaction with emotion, or it makes it sort of all the more, a wee bit more sinister that he might be doing that.
I think the interpretation is that it wasn't a spur of the moment thing. I think it was premeditated. Now there's been nothing today. Maybe there won't be, but it's interesting, that he's done that. I think that Simon Jordan on TalkSport, whom I listen to occasionally, had said that he's not sure what he's playing at because it's probably the best job he'll ever get in his life, and it probably will be. There are very few bigger, better jobs than Chelsea for all the chaos, that there is around it. And overall, and this is his second season, they've done pretty well. They've won a trophy, and they're there or thereabouts, and I don't wonder why he's upsetting the apple cart right now. That's just all I would say.
Yeah, I find it a very strange scenario. I find it a very strange scenario where an owner is telling a manager who to pick to play. Surely a manager should be going in with a style of play and a desire to get a team playing a certain way, and to buy players maybe without consulting them and then just throwing them on and saying you need to play him, you need to play him. I don't understand what's the point in having a manager or a coach if you're doing that. It's counterproductive. So, but there must be something's not right, and it seems to be coming from the top. It seems to be a bit of pressure from the top.
Well, there's a theory, that they play what was it was the old LA the team where it's all about stats and then sell on prices, and Chelsea bought all these young guys, And the theory could be that the owner wants these guys in the shop window. He wants them playing because he sees that it affects possibly their value. Whereas the manager may be saying, well, I'm not my job's to get a result on Saturday or Sunday or whatever the match is. And that's all I'm judged on. I have to win or get a result, So I've got to pick the best 11 or 14, 15 that I can to fit my way of doing this. And to feel interfered with, I mean, was it not Nuno who felt a little bit interfered, lost the ear of the owner?
Well, he said that the previous year, his words approximately were that the previous year he had a good relationship and spoke to Marinakis almost every day.
Yeah.
And then he said that's not the case now. And then that was the end of it for that interview. And then the next interview, he went into a bit more detail and said that he lost the ear of the owner. And, whenever we were in the middle of the Ange thing, I was like, why could they not sort this out? But I truly am happy. I said a couple of weeks ago to Charlie when he was on this podcast, I said, I feel something special's happening. And I think with the three of them, Wone, Stone and Deitch, the three of them all being there before, I do think there's something special happening. And I think there's a wee historic moment.
Yeah, well, that's good.
It's possible that you're going to play out. I could feel it, it's just a good feeling about the club at the minute, and I'm glad that Deitch is there, and I think the three of them between them is all working out very well. And I do think I don't know where can Forest end up, Colin? What's the best scenario for Forest for the year?
Well, as long as I have
assuming we
get
a good run in Europe.
Well, I think they need a good January too, in the sense that they don't want to need to lose anyone, and I think that this is always a Damoclean sword hanging over some of the teams. If they keep that, the team that played yesterday, on Sunday, if they keep that team and they stay fit, the top six, I really think it's possible, because some of the other teams are, as we call it, in transition, whereas there maybe wasn't that much wrong with Forest, but whatever Sean Dyche has done, he's got them all up. And I look at things, there's the tactics board and there's all that. I look at the other behavioural things. I look at the attitude that I can see on the pitch, the determination, the looks on the faces of the players, how they're passing to each other, how they deal with a mistake. If one of them makes a mistake, do they all stand? Or whose fault? Or they go, well, so I didn't make a mistake, so what? Or do they go back and try and get the ball? And he has all of that in place. I think top six is possible. I certainly think top eight is within their grasp, definitely. Provided a good January, i.e. not losing anyone, and no serious injuries to key players. And you've mentioned a couple of them already. I would put in Gibbs White, who I think put in a good shift as well, to be blunt. Quietly, we bit quieter, but he was there, and you would have noticed had he not been. And you the reserve keeper on.
Just because he's not doing as many of them, he's a wee bit more calculated as a player under Dyche. He's not doing these wee silly wee flicks, which when they work out, they're wonderful. But when they don't work out, they can be very damaging. So I think he's planning his game a wee bit better. Yeah, away to Fulham.
That's what I mean.
Everybody's saying we're going to win. Everybody says we're going to win that game. Fulham are bogey club for us. We struggle there. Anybody coming to the City ground at the minute could be in dodgy ground. We know what Everton done to us a week and a half ago, and that's another thing I want to say. What is it about the fixtures this year? We've got Everton twice in December. I know you have a club twice in December. We chatted about it.
Brentford
it makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me that you have to play two. Yeah, like what's the point? It's sure it could be planned out better than that.
You would think.
Charlie does mention.
From my point of view, what is he? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm quite sure that Mr. Marinakis doesn't watch the podcast, but condolences to Mr. Marinakis in the death of his mother. Yeah, his mother passed away, and he's gone.
I heard that. Well, condolences.
Yeah. So, good words, Charlie. Sorry, you were going to say, Colin. You were going to say.
What was I going to say? That's a good point.
Don't know. We're of that age and forget what you're going to say.
No.
Okay, give me a firm prediction for the Liverpool game from you're at home to Liverpool. What's going to happen? Give me a prediction for the score.
2-2, and it's no good to either of them.
Yeah. No, it's not really. I think you both need a win to
Yeah,
break the cycle. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah. So we'll wait and see. That game's on Saturday, is it?
Yeah. Well, I can't get over to it.
And where's-
Johnny's going to.
where did the Brentford manager come from? The guy that's managing Brentford now. Where was he before?
Andrews, he was their set piece manager for a while. Keith Andrews played for Wimbledon and the Republic of Ireland. He had never managed before. He was a set piece coach and so on, and he was promoted from within. And ironically, or not ironically, Martin O'Neill had Andrews, as a pundit, had been very critical of Martin O'Neill as Republic of Ireland manager. So whenever
Yeah, I
Andrews was
remember now.
appointed
Yeah.
Brentford manager, Martin O'Neill sort of took the chances. You'll see now. You know you're in for. Now they've done okay, and Brentford are relying on their home form to keep them up. And we're going there, as you said in January. So that'll be interesting. I think Brentford are a wee bit better than you're saying they are, but Thiago up front can get a goal. I think they're steady enough at the back. They're not going to put up any, they're not going to win the league and they're not going to do all that. But their objectives are different. And I think this year their objective is to stay up. So then they're basing their home form, they're going to survive on their home form. So it'll be interesting to say the
Yeah.
least.
I know that Matt's listening to the two Matts are listening. One's in Arsenal. I think that actually I think Arsenal are going to do what they done last year. I'm afraid. I think they're going to bottle it and they're going to slip away. I think Man City and Chelsea are going to fight it out. I think the next two or three games, I don't even know who they're playing. I should have had that in front of me, but I don't know who they're playing. But I think that their next couple of games is critical as well. And I think if Arteta doesn't win this year, there's no way he can be hold on. But Colin, you spent 200 million in the last transfer window as well. It's a lot of money.
And what do you mean the last one? Last summer? I can't see
I
how
think
we
so.
did.
Yeah, I think it was 200 million in the last transfer window. I will come back and I'll correct that.
That would seem well. I suppose we bought Tell, who had been there from the previous January, and Xavi Simons, and there's a loan of Milani. But other than that, I can't see how that would be the case because we lost out on SA. But I've said before, the differences between a 60 million, a 50 to 60 million, and an 80 to 90 million player. And I know it's monopoly money, but it's only, descriptive in the sense that if Spurs really want to be where they should be, they need to go up a notch, and they need to get those game-changing players.
Yeah, see, I dug about just to get a wee bit of information on Spurs just after that, because I knew we'd be sort of doing a wee bit of analytical digging just to see why things have gone wrong. But the Lewis family said that the reason they orchestrated Daniel Levy being ousted out of the club or moved or whatever, I don't know exactly what happened, but the reason they done that was that they wanted to see significant sporting success at the club. So now January's the time that they're going to have to spend the dough, or the summer if they can't. Yeah. So this is
it will be the statement. I use the term statement in terms of matches or by boards, and I think that they need to make a statement in January. That won't be the full one, but it will show that they mean the business. And then in the summer again, where there need to be some surgery, as we say. Now, whether Thomas Frank is the guy they think should do that, or someone else, is the big, to me, $64 million question. And I think they'll be looking at things. They were saying they're half-heartedly. It's like a wee bit like, he must be given time, blah blah blah. But I would contrast that with a statement that Jim Radcliffe had made about Amarin, where he came out and single-handedly included said, "Amarin's the manager here, so get over it." And that helped. That caused a surge in United's form. And I'm not surprised by that, because I think when players, everyone realizes this is where we are, they'll do it when there's doubt. Doubt is a bit of a plague. And unfortunately for Thomas, there's a bit of doubt there. I even have it myself. And, I'm saying to myself, if I was trying to spend 100 million in January, would I want him to be there? Now, who else is around blah, blah, blah. I have been disappointed by a couple of aspects of his management. And one has been this kind of looking like we're not really sure what we're doing at times. It can't seem to find a way. Brentford accepted to win a game at home, which is ridiculous. And people will say, "Oh, well, you beat Slavia Prague and you beat Copenhagen and you beat Villarreal." I go, "Yeah, and what? That's the exception proves the rule." And the Bournemouth, Wolves, Villa, United. Were all of those games were not wins. So there is a doubt, and my intrigue is now dismay and doubt. But they're closer to the situation. They will know, and I think if they're true to their word, which I hope they will be, they will start to open the shoulders a bit in January, and let us know. Dominic Solanke, I'm not sure what's happened. I just don't really know what that injury is about. Madison is out for the season, frankly. Kulusevski, when's he coming back? There are three creative players I mentioned before, but it's a harsh business. It's a hard business. And if these
did you notice maybe your head was still down at this stage, and I'm not being funny, but did you see Richarlison going around? He collected 3 Forest tops. He collected 3 Forest jerseys off players.
No,
and I was like, if I just get beat the way I get beat, I would not be.
No, I didn't
doing
see,
that.
thank goodness I didn't see that. Thank God I didn't see that.
He did. I think Callum Hudson-Odoi and 2 others, he went and got their jerseys, and they didn't even go over and clap their fans. They just stayed away from them, and I thought it was
probably.
a
I feel
reflection on
sorry
them.
for the fans. Pedro Porro was out talking about the fans and feeling sorry for them and all that. Well, I feel sorry for them. Put in a better shift. Show it. People will forgive a lot. If you're beaten by a better team, a more skillful team, that's okay, as long as we tried. And I had years of that following at home, Crusaders at home and different times of Spurs. Just sometimes Spurs just let it all, let the air go right out of the balloon, and it's not good enough. So we need him, the manager
Yeah, as I said to you earlier, I think I said it to you at breakfast. Spurs just didn't try. They didn't try. Certainly in the second half, I think they just gave up, and it was,
And that is the most damning thing. It's the most damning thing you could say of any professional team or professional player in any sport. Professional, they didn't try. How dare they? Okay.
Well, fair enough. But I just want to say, Colin, a couple of things on the light-hearted note. What is it like to wear a jersey with 2 stars on the crest, above this crest? Is it a good feeling?
It's nice to have. It's like Richard de Lionheart or Robin Hood. A nice historical thing. Occasionally is good. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I prefer wearing current.
And the second thing is that for those who I'm probably not allowed to put photographs up, but one of the gifts that Colin received when he was over there, they couldn't find a cockerel as a hat. So from a turkey as a hat, which he wore all day, which he thought he would leave in the room and it'd be forgotten about. But I retrieved it from the room.
Very
it's travelled home with me, and it will make a future appearance. I can assure you of that.
I'm sure.
It will make a future appearance.
I'm sure.
So Oh, it's too heavy to put in the bag, but he's here anyway. He's here for future.
Yeah. I also got a lovely present.
Colin, very graceful in defeat. Thank you very much.
Well, I have no choice. But credit where credit's due. A wonderful weekend.
I know.
Not feeling a bit ill, but apart from that, it was absolutely fantastic. And
good.
Okay,
it was good people and with good crack, and there was nothing too nasty in the jokes and the banter.
Not at all.
Anyway, that's it. Forest 3, Spurs 0 this time for this episode, and we will carry the bet on to the next time. If each time we play one another, the episode that follows afterwards, one or the other will have to wear the opposition's top for in defeat. Anything you want to add before we go, Colin?
No, I'm just going to go away and go into a dark room and lie under a table for a while. No, nothing more.
Okay.
So
I'm feel very buoyant. I hope things are going to keep on going upwards for us. Yeah, we'll see you during the week, guys. Throw in any likes. Please like this episode. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it already. It makes a difference to us, gets our stats up. And thanks again for everybody for the predictions and the messages and the comments. It's what we're on here for, is just a bit of crack and just interaction with you, talking about the games. Okay. Thank you very much, Colin. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, everybody who tuned in and joined us, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.